Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great time learning Python. So today we'll be learning about loop. Yes, finally it's loop and today we'll be learning about for loop. But before going to for loop, I want that you should watch the previous video that we talked about conditional statement containing if and else. So get the concept of if and else clear because we'll be using something here. If else statement we'll be using in loop also, so that you don't get confused. You watch the previous video so that you can make up everything and you'll understand everything in a fluent way. So let's get started with for loop. What is loop? First, we may encounter what is loop. Loop means running something again and again. Means if you want to run something again and again, means we know that when we talked about function, we said that if you want to run something again and again, you can put them in a function, and when we call the function, it will run the same thing that was inside the function. Now, what if we wanted to run that function again and again? In that way, you can use loop and you can say how long it should run and it will keep on running. So that is the main concept of loop. And there are two type of loop, for loop and while loop. Today we'll be learning about for loop. In the next we'll learn about while loop. So today we'll not be learning about while loop. Today we'll be learning about for loop, and in this next we'll be learning about for loop. Means in the next we'll be learning about while loop. So that was it. So let's get started. So today we'll be learning one more new concept that is called range. So we'll be learning about range also. We'll be talking about range, but let's get started with for loop. In the for loop, in the middle of for loop, we'll be learning about range also. So the basic syntax of for loop is for and any variable you put here in up to how many steps it should run. So when we'll talk about list, we can put the length of list and all that. But now we'll be using a new word or a keyword that is called range. So, what is range? Range means like by the name it can suggest the range between this and that. So let's do one thing. There can be three arguments. So the range can have three arguments A, B, and C. Anything A, B, and C. So it will put some integer. If you put only one, it can accept one argument also, two also, and three also. What does first argument means? So let's do one by one for the all, then you will understand. So let me write the basic syntax of for loop. So you can write for any variable in range this. So we'll be using only one argument first. So let's write 10. And just let's print out something. Just let's print out the value of variable. And if you run this, you can see that 0 up to 9 is getting printed. So what does this mean? First of all, this is a for loop, means it will continue running something again and again. Means this will run again and again because of this for. And how many times will it run? It will run if it, in means what? In means it's the basic English that in means if it is inside that boundary. So what boundary? This is the boundary range 10. Range 10 means it should start, everything starts from 0. You know, in programming it starts from 0, from 0 to 10, but 10 not included. Means here 10 will not be included, means less than 10, means there should be 10 numbers, you know, it starts from 0, so it will go up to 9, and up to 9 there are 10 numbers. So up to 10 means this is the range from 0 to 10, means 10 times run this thing. So this is the main concept of for loop. Now suppose I said you that we can use three arguments. Suppose for the second argument, so let's write 10 to 20, and if you run this, now you can see what is getting 10 to 19 is getting printed. What does this mean? Now we, earlier it was if you wrote only one single argument, it will count will start from 0. If you write 100, it will go 0 to 99. But if you added two arguments, in two arguments it will start from 10 and stop one before 20, means the last element is not included, means here 20 is not included. You can see here it started from 10 but it went up to 90, means the 20 is not included. But I said you there can be three arguments. What if we added one more argument? Let's enter here 2, and if you run this you can see 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 is getting run. What is this means? For the first, this 10 will get here, and this is starting is 10. So let me comment here something else, right? First is start, second is and third is steps. So now you can understand easily. So it start from 10, so 10 is getting, and you know that and does not get printed, so 20 will not get printed, means up to 19. And this is step it should miss. So we want that it should go from 10 to 20, but it should skip two steps. You can see a 10 plus 2 12, plus 2 14, plus 2 16, plus 2 18. After 18 if you plus 2 then it will come 20, but 20 cannot be included, so it's going only up to 18. So this is the main concept of range. I hope you got the basic concept. So now we'll be learning about for loop. And I said you, because of this for, this is running again and again. Means it is running 5 times because this range is up to 5 because 10 to 20 and we are missing 2 steps. Okay, I hope you got this. Now let's write here only 10, means it will run 10 times. And let's write here so that you can understand easily. You can see what is getting printed. So you can write hello and just write here variable. If you run this now you can see here. Now it will be very clear to you. Because of this for loop, this print statement is running 10 times. Why 10 times? Because it is in range 10. You can see here hello 0, hello 1. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's running 10 times. So this is the main concept of for loop. Now we'll be doing one example and you'll understand more easily. I hope you got the concept of range. We'll be using range, so I'm saying that. So we'll write for I in range 10. So for I in range 10, what we want to do, we wanted to check if you can write here I or you can write variable, if the number is odd or even. So we'll be using if else condition. So I want that you should watch the previous video. This is the code of previous video where we learn about if else statement. Watch that video because we'll be using that concept here, so you can make it easy. So we'll write if, we can use here, and under the for loop you can use if else condition. It is a nested, you can nest your loops and you can add one more for loop inside the for loop and everything is possible. When we'll be doing some worked out example, I'll be talking about that. So let's use some condition. Let's write if our variable %2 is equals to 0. Now what does this mean? If you know the condition of, if you know the syntax of if, this is very easy. You'll understand that if the variable, you know that if you go to range 10, so if you go to range 10 you can see 0 1 2 up to 9 will get printed. So you want that if that up to 9, if that is divisible by 2, means you know that %2 means if the remainder 2 means is completely divisible. If the number is if the this variable is completely divisible by 2, then we say that it's even. Even is completely divisible by 2. We'll add this and we'll add even and we'll just print out the variable that is written here. So we'll write variable. Else, what if it is not even, then it's an odd number. So we'll write else and we'll put here print odd and we'll just write the variable. Now if you run this, what we should get the answer. We'll not get this 0 to 10 directly now. Now we'll get it divided in between odd and even. So how this runs? So let's run this and you can see here. First 0. 0 is divisible by 2. Yes, so it's an even. But 1, when we divide 1% 2. So if you write here 1% 2, what is the answer? We'll get equals to 1 because 1 is not completely divisible by 2. So 2 0 is equals to 0 plus 1 is equals to 1. So that's it. If you understand the basic of modulo, then you'll understand this very clearly. So when we go for 2, 2 is completely divisible by 2. So 2 is an even. But 3 is not completely divisible by 2 because when you divide 3 with 2, if you divide 3, okay, let's come down here and you can see if 3 is divided by 2, this is, we use this double forward slash if you want the integer value and we can see we get 1. Means what? 2 cross 1 is 2 and 1 is remaining. So if you write here 3 and %2, you can see here 1 will get remainder. So 1 is remaining, so we'll write 3 as an odd. Similar way we can print out everything the odd and even. So this is the main concept of for loop. We'll be using for loop again in the later part when we learn about list and all that. We'll be using lot of time. So I want you to get the basic concept. The basic concept is for help us to run same thing again and again. So let's do one thing. Let's call that, let's open this function. Okay, this is while we are talking about function, then we wrote this. Now let's do one thing. Let's just copy this and paste it here. Let's go to our for loop and just paste it here. So this is from the previous video. You can understand this if you're following the playlist. we already did about is defining function and all that. If you haven't, please watch it, then you'll understand clearly. We know that if you wanted to call a function, we should write here add. But what if we wanted to call this function 10 times? So we can just write here for variable, any we can write it any name. You can write your own name also here. You can write any name. So we'll be using var, or you can just write I seems easy and is mostly used. So we'll write for I in range. So suppose we wanted to call this function 5 times, so we'll just write range 5 and we'll just call it add. Now if you run this, you can see enter first number, so we write 1, enter second number 2, and you can see sum is getting printed. After the sum gets getting printed, it's calling this add again. You can see this is coming again, so we'll write 3 and 4. You can see it's calling once more. So let's continue it. Let's 5 6 7 8 1 and 2. So after this it's completed, you can see there is no more. Why? Because it's already called 5 times. You can see here once, twice, thrice, for the fourth time, and this is the fifth time. Why it is calling only fifth time? Because we know it's in the range 5, means it should call up to 5. But what if we did not use this for loop? If we did not use this for loop, then we should have been doing like this. So this is time consuming. We should write here add, come back here again, write add, again come right here add. What if we wanted to call this function 100 times? Then we should write this name of the function 100 times. But using for loop, this can be done easily. Just write for I in range 100, and this will call this function for 100 times, and just you can go on. So that is the main concept of for. I hope you got the basic concept. I've done with the help of a function and some basic operation also. So if you're facing any difficulty, you can just comment out. In the next, we'll be learning about while loop. While loop is also very important, very interesting. So I hope to meet you there. I hope you'll join me there also. And in the road of data science, we are progressing. There is not much more that we need to learn the basic of Python. After that, we'll be jumping into NumPy, Python, and Pandas, Matplotlib, SciPy, Scikit-learn, and all that. So I hope you'll work with me and follow me in the journey, and I can be your guide. So thank you for watching. See you in the next.